Well, hi, this is Chase Swift, and in this video, former corporate executive, now a top leader in Shaklee, Senior Master Coordinator Laura Evans shares the Shaklee business opportunity and how her choice to build a thriving Shaklee business has changed her life. At the end of this video, I invite you to find out more about Shaklee and how to join us.
My name is Roger Hill, and I am thrilled to be here tonight. I actually have the privilege and the honor of introducing our featured speaker this evening. And for those of you who are evaluating Shaklee for the first time, I was evaluating Shaklee for the first time about 6.5 years ago, and it's because of this person that I am at Shaklee. So I'm very excited to be able to give her an introduction. She was actually at Shaklee as my boss, and she was the executive vice president of sales at Shaklee, and she was really leading the charge for all of you who are Shaklee distributors and looking to build a successful business here. She was your champion. Now, dare I say, she is your champion in a different way because she is actually one of you. She is out in the field, and she transitioned from corporate life at Shaklee to the fun side, where all of you guys reside and are able to go out and share Shaklee with as many people as humanly possible. But she, quite frankly, is the reason that I'm here. So I'm honored tonight to be able to introduce to you, newly minted, might I add, Senior Master Coordinator, Laura Evans. Laura, I know you're on the call tonight. Thank you for taking time out and being able to share your journey and a little bit about the Shaklee as a company and our products and the opportunity and all that good stuff. I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you so much for that kind introduction, too. And I remember precisely the first time that we met in Southern California, and I'm so thankful that you joined our Shaklee team, and what a key contributor that you are to what we're accomplishing together in Shaklee. So thank you so much, and I'm honored to just been a part of that introduction process for you. So yes, my name is Laura Evans, and I'm a former corporate gal in a couple of different companies and industries who decided to go entrepreneurial. And I hear that 100% of people out there want to go entrepreneurial, but maybe only 1% ever do. And I hope tonight that I can share with you the why I chose to do this, what I chose to do, and how it's coming to realization or coming to life for me. We have a business in Shaklee that exceeds $5 million a year. We were recently achieved one of Shaklee's higher ranked titles, Senior Master Coordinator. And while replacing a six-figure income was important to me, and it's an important part that I help many people in my team develop a plan and actually achieve, what really was important to me is how can I be a six-figure giver? You really have to give up to gain, and that's a Dr. Shaklee philosophy that resonates with me and something that is throughout our business. So I have over 25 years experience as a professional in corporate sales and marketing executive roles, everywhere from executive vice president to vice president, whatever, at different companies that you may be familiar with. Some of them, for example, J. Crew, I was working at the very beginning before there were any stores. So I had a chance to be part of a business that was booming and really create that brand and the brand that they are today. And that's when I got introduced to the Walt Disney Company. Disney Consumer Marketing hired me to help them with their strategy around their retail stores and their catalog business. And I had a great opportunity to build and further my career and my experience there. And I worked at some other major companies too, including, as Roger mentioned, Shaklee. I wanted to introduce you to my family. Our family's growing and changing. In 2013, when I first was looking at transferring over to the sales field side and out of corporate, you can see our 4 kids there. And then, so we have 4 children, Dr. Ashley, Savannah, Kennedy, and Jack. We now have 2 sons-in-law, and we have 1 grandbaby, and we have 2 dogs. So I get busy. I totally understand a busy and growing and expanding and very rich family life. And that's what we have, and I'm thankful for that. And my Shaklee story really begins with the experience of my daughter. Now, in this picture that you're looking at, that is me in the red there. And that was me at my heaviest. I was over 200 pounds, size 20. And I share that picture because people see me today and they think, oh, you don't know what it's like to have an issue with managing weight. And I had to bring that picture out to say, oh yeah, I do know what that's like. My whole life has been yo-yo dieting and managing and struggling with my weight. So I totally get that. This young lady that's with me in that picture, this little girl, it was my 10-year-old daughter, Savannah. And that was right around the time that we were introduced to Shaklee. And what happened is someone cared enough about us and our family to ask us some questions and get to know our family. And in the course of that conversation, I got to know them and their family. And what we discovered was that we each had children that had some health issues. In particular, my daughter had a compromised respiratory system, and she was struggling with, breathing treatments and things like that. Well, what I found out from this other family was that their daughter had experienced the same thing, and part of their treatment solution for that was to be able to replace their cleaning products with non-toxic cleaners, which were easier on the lungs and so forth. Well, I thought to myself, really? Could it be that simple? If it were that simple, why didn't somebody tell us about this before now? Because this child had really had a very difficult childhood suffering through this. And I also thought, hey, what do I have to lose? I would do anything for her to feel better. And if it means the the temporary habit change of changing out my cleaning products from one brand to another, then I'm certainly willing to do it. So I made the change, and sure enough, within about 2 months, this child was going around singing the praises in our household of our new non-toxic cleaning products, which are the Get Clean products from Shaklee. And when I had a chance to experience firsthand what a difference these products made in the quality of her life, I just felt compelled to be a part of this company. And whatever role that God had meant for me to be in this company, I would be involved in it. I'd already met the owner, Roger Barnett, and he had already been working on persuading me to come work for him at Shaklee. And my daughter's transformation with her health was a really catalyst moment for us to make that decision. So I came to work at the company. I started feeling better and using the products as well. And several years into it, I had a very visible transformation, which is when I lost weight using the Shaklee 180 weight loss program, weight management program. I was about a size 10, 12, and struggling with my weight, was gaining on me once again. My metabolism was kind of wrecked from all the fad diets that I had done. But I made a commitment to myself to do the same thing that those on the clinical study had done, and to follow the Shaklee 180 program the way that it was recommended. And I wasn't really expecting more than what the clinical study had achieved, but I had awesome results. Within 6 months, I went from a size 10, 12 to a size 2, and I lost 40 pounds and lots of inches, and it was quite a transformation. It was at that time that all of my friends and family who knew that I struggled with my weight started asking me, how did you do this? We want to know more about this. How did you do this? And that's when the seed was planted in my mind to gain the confidence of, you know what, maybe I really could be building a business. Maybe I could have a business that's my own instead of building something as an employee for a company or an employer. And a lot of people come to us with that kind of thing. You can see here from a list of different things of why people may choose to join us. My reasons were more on the professional side. I really wanted to have the freedom to spend time with my children. My children were getting older, and I had sacrificed a lot in my time with them, prioritizing my career. I wanted to be able to design a life where I could design work around my life schedule instead of the way my life had been forever, which was living my life around my work schedule. And that was the most important thing to me. I also had a fear of missing out. I knew that we were in growth industry markets, and I saw that as an employee, I didn't have a piece of that. And I wanted something that I could create myself and be able to pass on to my children and give them an option of taking part of that in the future. And owning my own business was a way to do that. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of my journey. Here are some of the things that I often hear from people. People ask, well, what kind of company is this that you chose? They also will ask, how much could I earn from this company, and what would I have to do to earn that money? And I understand that what they're really asking is, do I want to do this, and could I do this? And that's absolutely okay. I asked myself that question too, and I went through the decision-making process that I hope I can help walk you through. My goal tonight is to help you with asking yourself some questions, and then connect with the person that invited you to hear this to get a little bit more clarity as you explore your options and what's in front of you. Here's why I chose Shaklee. You'll have to decide what was in it for you. I had a checklist of what I was looking for. I understood that if I was going to market products and a business to people that I knew, my credibility would be on the line. So I wanted to represent a company that was worthy of my reputation and credibility. So I looked for a company like Shaklee that had high quality products, that had strong field leadership and corporate leadership, a company that had a vision for the future, and a company that had a lucrative and what I consider a fair and equitable compensation plan, a marketing plan, and a company that had real support in terms of the community. Those were all important values for me. So you'll have to decide what's important for you. When evaluating this company, you're going to find that this company, you can see a picture of the actual corporate building there in Pleasanton, California. It's beautiful. Was the first company to be climate neutral certified. I just love it that the company walks the talk. They are always a step ahead of things like that. The company led an initiative to plant 1 million trees. The company offers an opportunity where they've paid over $8 billion in commissions. And they've got a stable income opportunity, a stable business for more than 60 years. Part of my evaluation of who I would represent had to do with the stability and the longevity of the company. I wanted to build something once. I was not interested in the high risk of a startup, and I was not interested in a company that hadn't been around for at least enough time to survive changing socioeconomic, things that happen, the changing climate of socioeconomic. Perhaps what's important to you was really important to me was our founder. Our founder, Dr. Shaklee, was a philosopher, an innovator. He created the first multivitamin in the United States in 1915. And he founded the company in 1956 at an age where most people would have retired and wanted to stop working. He was just getting started because he was so passionate about his mission for helping other people see the value in living in harmony with nature. And he was so passionate about that message being shared person to person rather than just through the normal traditional retail marketing or on a store shelf. Dr. Shaklee could see that the high quality of the products which he insisted upon would yield the kind of results that the stories would have to be told and shared person to person. The product itself could not speak the stories that you would get as a result of using the products and living in harmony with nature. Maybe it's important to you to be with a company that's a leading innovator. Well, Shaklee is 100 years of innovation. More than 60 years ago, Dr. Shaklee created one of the first plant-based protein supplements made with soy lecithin. So anyone that's taking a vitamin these days or drinking a plant-based protein shake, a lot of what it is that they're using can be credited or traced back to the research and development that Dr. Shaklee did and started, even with the non-toxic cleaner in the US in the 1960s. Again, these things, Dr. Shaklee was caring about the environment when green was just a color. And that means something to me. And perhaps that's on your checklist as well. Perhaps proof is really important to you. You know, you want clinical results. I hear all the time companies that say they've got, you know, the studies on this product or the studies on this, but you've got to look really carefully. A lot of companies use some very sophisticated marketing that looks like science instead of real science. We actually at this company have clinical studies on our actual products. A lot of companies represent the results of the clinical studies on an ingredient of a product that they've included in their product, not on the actual products that they're selling to you. And it was important to have a company that was strong and deep and wide in terms of their clinical studies on their actual products that truly work, keeping with our philosophy, are gentle on the environment, and of course never tested on animals. Clinical proof. You know, I mentioned some of the studies, over 136 clinical studies and published papers on our actual products, and most in peer-reviewed journals. These kind of studies are not marketing events. They are not studies where we can change or alter what the results are. We go into that process expecting great results, but unable to change it if it were not. And thankfully, our science team is committed to the quality, and we get amazing results like what you can find in the Landmark study. I was working at the company when we conducted the Landmark study. You can find this at landmarkstudy.com. And what this basically shows is that long-term use of Shaklee products results in better health biomarkers and things like your cholesterol ratios, your levels for heart health, all other kinds of, cognitive health and biological stress indicators that doctors know and care about and are familiar with in research. We have a study that shows long-term use of our products results in that. And speaking of experts, maybe experts are really important to you. It was not as important to me, but if it's important to you, here's an expert, Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, who is not involved in Shaklee, as she's not a distributor in Shaklee. She's not paid to be an endorser of Shaklee. She's a 2009 Nobel Prize winner in medicine. And she acknowledges the Shaklee population, you and I who are using Shaklee products, are remarkably healthier than the general population, as shown by two studies, the Landmark study on long-term nutritional supplement users and the telomere study. Part of what Dr. Blackburn earned her Nobel Prize was in the discovery and the research that she presented about telomeres, which is an age indicator, a biological age indicator, which led her to write a book about the telomere effect. And she's very familiar with how to improve the quality of your life and extend the quality of your life. And that's what she's talking about there with the Shaklee population. Or perhaps it's important to you about, are the products, safe? Are they safe to use? And even all the research and all the other things that you've seen here, perhaps it would be important to you to know that world-class athletes choose to use Shaklee products. And they use products when they are currently competing, not when they are retired and are being paid as an endorser. It means a lot to me that Shaklee products are chosen by world-class athletes. I am not a world-class athlete, but if it's safe enough for them to choose it for performance and for purity, realizing that they could be random drug tested at any time, well, then that means it's safe enough for me and safe enough for my children and for our family and for anyone I would recommend to use it. So that speaks a lot to me. As I mentioned earlier, part of what I cared about was I had a fear of missing out. I saw that all the major product categories that Shaklee represented, which is wide, not narrow, and that was an important part of my checklist as well. I was not interested in a one-hit wonder product at a company. I wanted a company and a business plan and an opportunity that represented a wide bandwidth of products that consumers were choosing and using today for a strategic business purpose, because it increased the longevity and the earning power and the building power of the business that I would be building and creating. So All of these categories are growth markets. Every single one of the categories that Shaklee produces products in is a growth market. People are looking for what we have to offer, whether it's just healthy foundations such as plant-based protein or vitamin, or whether it's more targeted solutions such as memory or blood pressure or cholesterol or something more targeted at the cellular level even, or whether it's weight, managing weight effectively, or non-toxic healthy beauty products, or healthy home products that are also non-toxic. This is a growing trend and growing interest. Thank goodness people are coming around to what Dr. Shaklee believed in so very long ago. And our opportunity of creating a business, a home-based business, is a growing market too. And I had a fear of missing out of the growth of these categories. As an employee somewhere, when you're not owning a business, then you are missing out on what you could create as a income asset, a producing income asset. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. First of all, meet Roger Barnett. If you're not familiar with Roger, he's our chairman and CEO, and he has an incredible background worth researching and getting to know a little bit more about. What I love about Roger's vision is that his vision for Shaklee was much greater than just owning a company. You know, he wasn't just looking for a company to own. He didn't need a company to own. He is in this for a bigger world vision and creating a family legacy and creating really an economy of wellness around the world. And as he says, other companies count on you to create their value. At Shaklee, we reward you for the value that you create, meaning that everyone is valued at Shaklee. And it's really important here that we're looking out for where do you see yourself and where do you want to be. We're not trying to force anyone to be someplace that we want them to be. We want people coming and experiencing Shaklee where they want to be and where their need is at that time. Here's a little bit more about what I was talking about in terms of what are your options. And these are my options. This is just basically a graph of how to create income. So what kind of options? Well, in the top left-hand corner, the green box, of course, we all have the option of having a job, being employed by somebody else, or we could be self-employed down there in the blue box. You think of that as like a dentist or a chiropractor or somebody that, you know, when they show up and work, they earn money. So they're self-employed. But also when they're not showing up, they're not earning money. So self-employed, working for yourself. You know, with each of those options, you're exchanging your time for money. So you look over to the other side of this quadrant. You could also move beyond being an employee and become a business owner. And through a system of training and coaching other people what you know how to do, use the concept of leverage to multiply your efforts, creating the possibility of residual income. And that's what attracted me, because this is what becomes possible when you choose to build a Shaklee business, is that business owner quadrant where you're able to leverage your time and the money that you can earn through the system that you create and what you attract. Or, of course, in the final quadrant there in yellow, you can become an investor. But here's the catch with that option. It's money that you're leveraging. So if you don't have the money to leverage, then obviously you don't have it to invest and for that money to work for you. So both of the options, the business owner and the investor side, are about using and creating an income and using leverage. What I like about the orange side is that that's something that's available to everyone. The income investor side, you have to have the income to invest it. You have to have the money to invest it. So let's take a look at what that looks like at Shaklee. What is it possible for someone to earn at Shaklee? And of course, these are our actual 1099 earnings statements. And I want to be clear that I'm not saying that everybody listening to this is going to earn exactly this amount. Of course, with anything in life, you get out of it what you put into it. But what I do want to show you is here's a pathway where you could create some additional income. And I want to encourage you to think about what would change in your life if you were able to create an additional stream of income. What would change? What are you depriving yourself of? What is it that you desire that you're saying no to on a regular basis because you don't have the funding for it? And what would change in your life for that? And let's take a practical look at this. At our entry level of director, the average income is $888 a month. And again, that's the average. And I want to be very clear. This is not a 40-hour work week position necessarily. Most people that are directors are not investing 40 hours a week in their Shaklee business. Then you could look at what are some of the other opportunities. Director is our beginning cornerstone. And once you accomplish that and you attract others and teach them to do the same thing, you can begin approaching the coordinator level. The coordinator is an extra $1,800 a month. What difference would it make in your life to be adding another $1,800 a month? You know, could it change your schooling that you're sending your children to? Could it change your retirement plans? Could it change your need for a part-time job? Could it help you afford some of the professional coaching that you might want for your children? That could open up a lot of doors for you. And again, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a full-time effort. Oops, went backwards. At the senior executive coordinator level, well, this is where you really are looking at replacing, and this is where people that I'm working with in my team are considering leaving a full-time career, where they're approaching the kind of income and the size of an organization where they are beginning to work more full-time hours, and they're creating an income of about $5,000 a month. And then you've got master coordinator, where you are building teams and teams of leaders, and you are certainly working full-time here, but you're creating an income of $17,000 a month. And that's that kind of reoccurring income from the customer's purchases, from the purchases of products. But let's also look at the quality of your life in terms of your monthly budget and what you're driving. You know, perhaps a new car is something you desperately need in your family, but it's not in your budget right now. What if you were helping people feel better, and in addition to the commissions that you were earning, you were able to also afford an additional bonus for the type of car that you're driving? Would that make a difference? Or how about family vacations? You know, how many people have given up travel time with their family and have not budgeted or no longer have the budget and are forced to take staycations at home because they're not able to travel the way that they'd like to with their family? Well, what I love are the experiences that we create with travel. So what if travel is something that were important to you and your family? So I know you're probably asking, well, what would I have to do this? Well, here's how it works. First of all, become a raving fan of the products. Give the products a try. You're going to fall in love with something. I am certain of it, and our 100% money back guarantee makes it even, you know, less of a risk or concern for you. Then you begin to build a customer base by sharing the testimony of the experiences that you've had in feeling better with our products. And then you teach a couple of other people to do the same thing that you've done. Use the products and share them with other people. Repeat and do the same thing over and over again. So could you become a raving fan of the products? Well, we provide a healthier life for everyone and a better life for anyone. And that's where we focus on offering the product, the income, as well as a rich community network of support for each other in achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. So as we reach the end of this, whatever questions that you may have, and I hope that you do have some, I hope that I gave you some things to think about and some things that I thought about in my journey and my decision making. And I am so thankful that I had a little bit of courage to make that decision to change and to design a life where I could really enjoy more time with my family. It's been worth every single minute of it. So if you're ready, get with the person who invited you to this. They'd be happy to answer your questions. They'll help design for you the perfect customized solution in getting started with whatever range of products are right for you, and to develop whatever a personal customized plan to reach your goals and whatever piqued your interest the most. So thank you for joining us tonight. In the words of our founder, Dr. Forrest Shaklee, your future will be exactly what you decide to make it.
Well, it's Chase again, and I'm glad you watched that video with Laura Evans. And now you can learn by clicking on Watch My Next Video, how to join Shaklee and make it a part of your life. I look forward to having you join our team. Bye for now.